Ford Transit Mark 8 2-litre ecoblue on a 67, this one, so it's one of the older ones. As you can see, came in for wet bolt. So came in, vehicle drove here perfectly fine, put it up in the air, did the wet belts, oil and filter change obviously, and went to strike it up the next morning after all the glue had dried. It struck up, yep, lovely, and did front brake pads as well while it was here. Went to drive it, it's in limp mode. The limp mode basically restricts the revs below 2000 RPM. In the computer, there are two fault codes. One is for fuel pressure. Now it says low side too high. So what can cause that is things like injectors. So as you can see there, did a leak off test on all 4 injectors, and that's about 2 or 3 minutes of running, that is. So, you know, they're all very, very even. They say within 10%, you know, that's easily within probably 2-3%, to be honest. So the injectors are all good. Also, I did check whilst this was doing the leak off test, because obviously the injectors aren't connected to the low side circuit, and the low side circuit is still high on pressure. So I think it's actually the fuel pressure regulator for the low side that's at fault, because the high side is where it's supposed to be. The injectors are where they're supposed to be. So that diagnosed that. But then it's still in limp mode. But if you do a key on engine running self test, it comes out of limp mode and you drive it till you cycle the ignition, and it goes back into limp mode. Now the other fault code that was in there, because there was 2, is crankshaft position sensor. So as you can see, I've got the harness here removed. So there's the connector, and there's the actual crank sensor there between the sump and the gearbox. So bearing in mind, I've not touched this, okay, I took the sump off, cleaned this up. I've not touched it as such, I've probably knocked it, but not touched it. And to give you a little backstory, this is a taxi, this one, and to be honest with you, every time it comes in and I do something to it, something else breaks. It's just one of those weird cars where it will go forever. I mean, it's got 140,000 miles on the clock for a 2-litre ecoblue. Never really had any problems at all, not even NOx emissions or DPF related. But then it will come in, you'll service it, just do a general service, and all of a sudden something will break before it leaves. Strange car. So this is a little 8-inch connector here that goes between the crank sensor. I don't know why they did this, but the crank sensor and this connector here. So it's a completely separate wiring loom. It's almost like they expected it to go wrong. As you can see, I have found the problem there, but that looked perfectly fine when it was on it, and you can see the wire there has got black. So that's had a hole in it for a while, and then water has been getting inside of it, and it's rotted that cable. Obviously I pulled it off to inspect it, because I thought that maybe being under the vehicle it would have some of the green crusties in one of the ends, but as you can see, they are brilliant inside. I did think it was something was suspicious, because the back of this connector is loose, like somebody's had it apart or it's been hit by something and it doesn't clip back in properly. So it's possible somebody's been here before and caused this problem, I don't know. We've never had any problems with it. I mean, to be fair, it probably had 60,000 on it when it was purchased, so it's possible it had a problem before that and they were diagnosing it and sticking piercing probes in, and that's what caused this problem. Who knows? But I took this off, obviously took the multimeter, just put it onto consistency check, and the first wire I touched, ironically, was the green one, and it didn't work. I checked the next 2, and as I said to my colleague here, that'll be the problem. And as I walked over, I happened to grab the wire just there where it's now broken, and I went, and I could even feel it, and I just pulled it, and there you go. So if you have a problem with your crank sensor, it's probably worth checking that stupid bit of wire there. I have rung Ford to see if I can get one. Obviously now I know it's actually broken there, I can repair that. That's not too much of a problem. Well, I'll give it to him to repair. Looks like a him job. And then that should fix that problem. Might even just repair that, and then if I can get one, put that on later, because it just gets it done and off my lift. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.